Hassler here. I'm going to work through the 1.6 Explore. This is what we did with our groups in class. The prompt says, every spring, the NCAA hosts a college basketball tournament known as March Madness, featuring teams from all around the U.S. There are 64 teams in round one, who each get paired up to play against one of the other teams based on their ranking. In this single elimination tournament, only the winning team of each game moves on to the next round. Okay, so how many teams will there be in round two? All right, so they said in round one, we have 64. But those teams are going to get paired up. So, but we pair up. And then winner moves on. So because I'm pairing up, I'm going to say that 64 put into pairs or groups of two means that there's 32 32 games that are playing, and only the winner moves on. Winner moves on, not up, sorry. And so I have 32 in round two. And then those 32, so how many teams will be in round three? So those 32 are going to pair up. And the winner is going to move on. And so I have these 32 teams that get paired up, so divide by 2. Only the winner moves on, and so that means that 16 teams move on. And so it looks to me like I am dividing by 2 or cutting the teams in half. So maybe we'll come back to that idea. 3 says, how many rounds will there be before the championship game? Okay, so how many rounds before the championship game? All right, so round 1, we had 64 teams. In round 2, there were 32 teams. In round 3, there were 16. So if I divide that by 2, I'm going to have 8. And if I divide that by 2, I'm going to have 4. And so 6 would be 2. I'm going to pause here. This, to me, seems like this is the championship game. Right? Because the championship game is going to have the final 2 teams remaining. So these last 2 teams playing against each other, and the winner is the overall winner. So this looks like the championship game. So how many rounds will there be before the championship game? I'm going to say 5. There's going to be 4 or 5 rounds before that last round with the 2 teams. Does the same number of teams get eliminated every round? It feels like the answer is no, but I got to give some evidence or explain. Okay, so let's check. Between rounds 1 and 2, I'm subtracting 32 teams. And then between rounds 2 and 3, I'm subtracting 16. So I can already see right away, I'm going to subtract 8. No. You're not subtracting the same number each time. That would be a good explain. So same number of teams each time. Okay. And then again, this whole idea of like dividing by 2 or cutting in half, right? It looks like I'm dividing by 2. Right, I'm not subtracting each time. I'm dividing by 2. And we're going to come back to that idea. In fact, in 5 it says, describe how the number of teams changes after each round. And I actually think this is a great opportunity to say that we divide by 2, or we can say the number of teams is cut in half. And I really like this idea of half and dividing by 2, representing the same idea. All right, 6 says plot points on the graph on the board to show the relationship between the round of the tournament and the number of teams remaining in the tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to my screen, to my graph screen. And we're going to go ahead and graph. I'll use red. So we said that in round 1, so let's see, round 1, the round is down here. So here's round 1. Round 1 had 64 teams. So round 1 had 64 teams. And round 2 had 32 teams. And round 3 had 16 teams. And round 4 had 8 teams. And round 5 had 4 teams. So if you take a look at the scale over here on this graph, The scale goes up 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, but I'm at 8. So 8 divided by 4 means that each box is worth 2. So if I want 4 teams left at round 5, I got to go halfway to 8, right? And then round 6, there was 2 teams left. So when I look at this graph does not look like a straight line. In fact, it looks like it kind of curves. And it decreases. That was something else that another team had said. I say these things because 7 says, what do you notice about the shape made by these points? Well, my points are decreasing. Love that. And these points are curved. So not a straight line. All right, so we're going to talk about a new type of pattern. We've been talking about arithmetic. We said this is clearly not arithmetic because I'm not subtracting the same number each time. But we're going to talk about a new term called geometric. And geometric is based on this idea of not dividing, but multiplying. And so while I am dividing by 2, yes, we could really say that's the same as multiplying by half or 0.5. And when I look at this as a fraction, this fraction bar really shows division, that I'm taking 1 and I'm dividing it by 2. That would be the same as saying divide by 2, but half is a decimal as this 0.5. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the vocabulary in a different video. And in this video, I'm really going to emphasize this idea of what are we multiplying by to create this list. If you have questions, let your teacher know.